Go! Da! Quick! Go! Are you blind? Da! Go! Whoa!
Sure, I tell you, and you dob me in.
Why would I dob you in?
Look, just drop it, will you? Hey, you! Either you have something to sell or we never saw each other.
What happened to you?
A wheel on our wagon broke, so we're waiting here for my husband to come back from the village.
You're lucky you didn't run into any footpads. The roads are treacherous these days.
What can we do? We have to make a living somehow. Do you want to buy anything?
Where are you coming from, and where are you headed?
Oh, here and there, all over the place. Times are hard, you know. What the farm folk have to sell, we buy, and we bring them what they're in need of.
Times are hard because there's people thriving on others' misery.
Can't argue with that. We're barely making ends meet ourselves. Everybody thinks twice before they part with their money these days.
How did you come by this stuff?
How? Well, you see, the farmers sell us what they don't need and so forth.
I see. You're just plain old hawkers, eh?
Aye, that's right. Buy for 1 groschen, sell for 2. And if I ain't got what you want, I'll get it for you. Everyone's just doing the best they can.
I'll be happy to take a look at your wares.
Of course, no trouble at all. Pleasure doing business. God be with you.
Would you repair a few things for me?
Great! Come back anytime, friend.
What a nice maypole. It'd be a shame if something...
What?
Nothing. Nothing. Really, very nice.
I'll say, the best in the country. Do you know why?
No?
Because it's the only one. We toppled the one in Zhelyov. They never saw it coming. Nobody gets the better of us. I don't think they're going to try anything, after that beating anyway. Even if they do, Henrik will raise the alarm and we'll kick their asses again. What are you here for, friend?
Show me your wares.
Pleasure doing business. Take care.
What do you have for sale?
I hope you'll be satisfied, my friend. What can I do for you?
I'm here then. You said in the alehouse that you could do with a helping hand at the forge, didn't you?
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. Ah, what's your name? Henry?
That's right.
You said something in the tavern about being a blacksmith's son, didn't you?
Aye, that's me. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience would come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Go over to the anvil and let's get started. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. Tell the temperature by the color, but you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. So what then? If you can't handle it, I'll have you make nails instead. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, So come over to the anvil. See that? Besides the sparks, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. Sparks! That's the stuff. Sparks are flying nicely. That's the ring you want.
You silly doggy.
Sparks. That's the stuff. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to there you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it. And the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly, and the iron feels it.
How do I know a good strike from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up, and by the ring. It rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
What's the right way to heat up the workpiece?
Do it till it turns the color of straw. Ideally, the color should be the same everywhere, if your forging's going to be even. The main thing is, don't work it cold. You just ruin it. But don't overheat it either. As soon as sparks start to fly off it in the furnace, take it out.
Why should I forge evenly?
If you keep hammering the same spot, you'll never finish it. You'll just fuck it up. But jumping from one end to the other ain't a good idea neither. You'd end up working unevenly. The best thing to do is aim each strike next to the one before.
How will I know it's finished?
Notice the shape. The closer you are to finishing, the more precise the shape it will have.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. And they can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them. Though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
Where exactly is my bed?
At the side of the house. There are 2 doors and a wheelbarrow between them. You go in by the rear door, next to the woodshed. And you can put your things in the chest there. Don't worry, nobody'll steal them.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right, here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
God grant you help. God be with you.
is useless. I should move it. Well, I'm about halfway done. Take long now. Good. Well, it's finished. Finish it like this. I should move it. This is useless. I should move it. Banging this spot for a long time. I can't keep hitting the same place. I should move it. to hammer it more evenly. I'll never finish it like this. I should move it. It's almost finished. Fine. Now to temper it.
What are you here for, friend? It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Tachov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
Those two hands of yours, Venser and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long. But these days, I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. Can I ask you about that cart?
What is it you need to know?
All right. I'm on my way.
Time's wasting. Run along.
There's a couple more things I'd like to ask about smithing.
Ask away.
Thanks. That's all I need to know. I'm still not really sure of myself in the forge. Could you show me again how it's done?
Why not? Better to practice now than fuck up an order. Why don't you forge me another hunting sword? Have you got what you need?
Yeah, I have.
Let's see what you can do then. Get to it. I want to... see how you'll fare.
Good day.
How
How's your sister?
Fine. Why'd you ask?
Why did you say that?
Reach was Jesus.
You're gonna get started
All
then.
go get me a fly.
Why is it just something?
Are you gonna get started then?
I should move it.
Are you gonna get
I've
started
been banging
then?
this spot for a long time.
Get to it. I want to see how you'll fare.
That looks like it's almost done.
You said.
Are you gonna get... Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. Works the bellow. Tell the temperature by the colour, but you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw colour we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
We've been over this 100 times.
You'll go to confession and donate some money to the church. Or I'll end up in the kingdom of heaven or myself.
I will. I've got to go now. If my wife saw us, I'd be in some shit. Are you serious? What about my marriage vows? If the Lord says...
It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Well struck. That's the ring you want. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking.
I'd like to learn something.
What?
I'd happily pay for some
Great. Let's get to it. Learning this trick will take some time. I wouldn't want that mare if someone gave it to me for See you later.
That's one sharp blade. done.
A bit longer without food, and I'll really start to be grumpy.
Sharp as a razor.
I'm feeling a bit peckish.
Shavings. What would you like?
I'll have a look at the wares. I'd like to do something about that price.
Well, I suppose we can try.
Is this enough?
That sounds really interesting. Lower your price a little more, and I'll be satisfied. Aye, you'll convince me with that price. Pleasure doing business. Take care.
Put it away!
That's a beautiful maypole. We never had one quite like it back home.
Aye, ours is the prettiest. And also the only one in these parts. That's why we keep a close eye on it. Nobody's managed to steal it in recent years, but not for a lack of trying. Except, I feel sorry for my poor Hinyik, having to worry about it.
Why is he worried?
Oh, he has to keep watch over it at night. We decided to keep it up until harvest. Except that means someone has to guard it every night. Hinyik pulled the short straw this time, and he's dead tired because of it.
Henyuk?
He's my sweetheart, I suppose. It's complicated.
Complicated? Is something wrong?
Well, since you asked, my parents forbid us from seeing each other. They're all up in arms over it. They're just not fond of him. So we have to meet in secret, which is impossible now, since Henyek doesn't have the time because he has to watch the maypole.
Well, what if someone took over for him and he had some free time tonight?
I'd like to see that. He's tired, but it's a matter of honor for him. Besides, the others wouldn't be happy if they found out.
We'll see. Show me your wares.
Pleasure doing business. God be with you.
And what can I get for you?
Lord be with you.
Good day to you.
How you doing? I'm Henry.
Nice to meet you. I'm Zdeněk. I'm a storyteller. I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
How can I know if it'll be worth it?
If you don't believe me, ask anyone. They all know me in the village, and they all know I'm good.
So they all sing your praises, even if you stutter?
I'll tell you what. You can listen for yourself and see what you think. Then, at the end, if you think it's worth it, you can pay me or buy me a drink. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
I like stories that can teach me something. Stories with a moral.
Haven't you heard enough of those in church? But it's not a problem. I have just the tale for you. And it's not one you'll hear from any priest. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. they were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, so Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one. It was an axe made of pure silver.
Good God. I'd grab that without a second thought.
Maybe you would, but Matthias would never. He was an honest man, and with a big swing he threw the silver axe back. He searched the pond again, and this time he pulled out his own axe. Nothing but dull iron and old wood.
It's pissing down rain.
I reckon that was the right choice. Who knows who the silver axe belonged to?
Well, quite. Listen on. Matthias was just about to leave when suddenly a water goblin came out of the pond, silver axe in his hands, and he said, "You're a righteous man, Matthias, and for your honesty, you may keep both axes." Matthias, not hanging around for the goblin to change his mind, took up both axes, gave us thanks, and ran to tell Kuba all about it. Kuba, however, was not best pleased with his little brother's fortune. He deeply envied Matthias for his newfound wealth. So, he set out to try the same thing. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him straight to the pond, threw his own axe in, and began a pretend search for it. Yet Kuba had no luck. He pulled out the axe he'd thrown in himself. So he tried again. Tricked by sunlight, he grabbed something shiny, only to pull out his old iron axe again. Enraged, he hurled his axe back into the water and yelled, "Fuck this axe! I want a silver one!" But the water goblin heard his shameful cry and was greatly upset by Kuba's greed. So, when Kuba reached down into the water for a third time, the water goblin seized his hand, pulled him down a hole to the dark depths, and drowned him.
Oh, that's so cruel. I feel sorry for Kuba.
Aye, and so did Matthias. He went to the water goblin and begged for his brother's body so he could take him home and bury him. But the path back from the pond led over a steep hill, and carrying the weight of the waterlogged body exhausted Matthias. He stopped to rest by an old oak tree, and he used the silver axe to cut off a branch that would serve as a walking stick. But it wasn't enough. Somehow, it was still getting harder to continue up the hill. Then Matthias realized it wasn't his brother's body that was weighing him down. It was the silver axe. The axe was the cause of all this trouble. So he started bashing the silver axe against the big stone with all his might, trying to destroy it. Yet no matter what, he couldn't even make a dent. With the last of his strength, Matthias climbed to the top of the hill. He knew he could go no further, so he found a pretty spot with a view over the valley and dug his brother a grave. There, he buried both his brother and the silver axe that had brought such pain upon them. His final act was to stick the oak branch in the ground by the grave. But lo and behold, the branch grew green leaves and became a tree. The locals have had no dealings with the water goblin since then, but some have had the bad luck to bump into him. And when you walk by the pier, where it all happened, you can still hear his chuckling.
That was a very nice story.
Story? What story? It's the truth.
Well, why hasn't anyone gone looking for the axe then?
Because it brings misfortune. Didn't you listen to me at all? Look for yourself if you wish. Rock Tower Pond isn't far from here. The Water Goblin's pier is somewhere among the reeds. But leave me out of it. I'm fine here with my drink. Farewell. One beer.
My God, what now?
I really...
That's a beautiful maypole you have there. You don't see that every day. I reckon all the other villagers must envy you.
They sure do. Them Geliovites try to steal it, but our fellas kick their asses. Why are you so interested in it anyway?
I know from experience how hard it is to guard a maypole like that. I used to stand guard myself.
Well, there you go. Then I'm sure you know what it's like to be envied by everyone around. And if someone had bad intentions, Henrik would show them how we do things here in Tachov. That's the one thing he's good for.
I wanted to ask about Henrik.
What about him?
Did he do something to you? Sounds like you're not exactly fond of him.
Aye, I'm not. He's been getting on my nerves ever since he got together with our Manka. I'm afraid he'll mess with her head and run off with her, just like his bloody brothers did.
Where did they go?
What do I know? One day they just packed up and wandered off. The village wasn't good enough for them, I reckon. I wouldn't mind if someone went and beat the thought of Manka out of his head. Maybe someone not from around here.
Why not? I could manage that.
He's not much of a fighter, but I reckon if you call him a vagrant or something, it'll surely rile him up. And I'll remember you did me a little favour.
Pour me one.
I'll have some wine.
Listen, Prochek. Those Geliovites are plotting something against you.
What? Bloody hell.
Old Olbram offered me some groschen to steal your maypole.
Damn it! That bitter old fool just won't give up. As if it wasn't enough that we fairly and honourably took theirs, and then fairly and honourably kicked their asses when they tried to take ours. It's a tradition. That's just how it goes. But for him to send some bloody outsider like that,
Hey, this bloody outsider just did you a favour and told you everything, though he didn't have to.
Aye, he did. I can clearly see he's an honest bloke, and we value honesty around here.
Thanks. I see the people from Tachov are honest too.
That we are. Speaking of which, I reckon it would be fair to repay Olbram in kind. Let me know if you're interested. I came up with a nice little pastime that's sure to make Olbram shit himself.
Hi. What can you do?
So what should I do to the GeBytes?
Listen up then. Old Olbram, the owner of the biggest plot of land in Zhelyov, has this beautiful bull. White as snow he is, the finest animal far and wide. Obviously, he's very proud of it. Very protective too. Now you, will give his beautiful snow-white bull a nice new coat of paint. Olbram is going to lose his mind. Simple, right?
Painting a bull, eh? That sounds like fun.
Right. We just have to work out a few details. First, we have to get some paint. I don't reckon we'll be able to get any here in the village, but you can try and ask Bartoszek, the tailor in Trotskovitz. I hear he dyes his own fabric. And after that, we'll have to make sure the bull stays still while you're painting it. Try asking Radován, the local blacksmith. I hear he can make some kind of sleeping potion. If you pour it in the bull's water trough, I'm sure it'll do the trick. But watch out. That beast is enormous. You'd better put at least 3 doses of the potion in there.
All right then. Olbram's bull will be getting a new coat of paint.
Olbram's going to lose his mind. I can't wait. And remember, it's supposed to be a joke. If you get caught or something goes wrong, the whole thing will be ruined.
Right. So I need paint, sleeping potions, and to not get caught. Why do you and the Zhelyov lot hate each other so much, anyway?
It's their fault. They keep playing tricks on us. Olbram's the worst of them all. The nasty old codger. He's always coming up with ways to mess with us. He's the one that stole our pasture.
Whatever.
What pasture did they steal from you?
The one that stretches from the orchard behind the Tachov down to the gamekeeper's lodge. It's been ours since time immemorial, but the Gelievites took it from us.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's a tree down by the gamekeeper's lodge that marks the edge of our land. My father, God rest his soul, was there when they agreed on it. He got a proper ass kicking so he'd remember it, and remember it he did. But then fucking Olbram came along, claiming it was the other way round, and that pasture belonged to Zhelyov.
Well, can't you all just reach some kind of agreement?
Do you think we haven't tried? But there's no talking to the Gelievites. Year after year we meet in that pasture. I tell it like it was, but Olbram always starts spewing his lies. Then we end up arguing until the sun sets. And when the Gelievites are at wit's end, they come at us, and nothing ever gets solved. We managed to convince them to at least give us back half the pasture. But I know the whole bloody thing belongs to us. We can't just leave things like this.
I'll be right with you.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's my but then
Well,
do you think year after... And when we managed...
have you tried asking Lord von Burgos for help?
Of course, but he'd have none of it. He said it's up to the Trotskovitz bailiff to sort it out. But the bailiff couldn't care less. He said we should deal with Olbram ourselves, or he'll have us caned and clapped in the pillory.
What's new around here?
Nothing new. It's quiet here, fortunately.
Show me your wares.
Ah, well, what can you do? Farewell, then.
I apologize.
I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Prochek said you might know something.
Did you get tired of blacksmithing and take up farming instead? I just happen to know of something. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away. You're in the trade, so I can tell you. Listen up then. You take some poppy and thistle and boil them in oil. Then, after it cools off, you add a little herb Paris.
That doesn't sound too complicated. Thank you. Quick! Quick! God!
The bleeding. Good afternoon.
The humans won't be coming back here. Don't worry.
Good. Peace at last. Until you get into trouble again, that is.
What's the latest news, innkeeper?
Have you heard about the Divozhenka of Semaine?
What Divozhenka?
You haven't seen one yet? A Divozhenka is a wild woman of the forest. An ugly, disfigured creature. You can find them deep in the woods or caves, where they make their ointments and gather magic herbs. Sometimes they hurt people, sometimes they help them. You shouldn't go there.
Why not?
The Samine lot did that. They were worried she might put young Lord Samine under a spell, especially now, because of the wedding. So they took care of her. And that's about it, I'd say.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, innkeeper. What's the latest news, innkeeper?
Nothing much, fortunately. And I hope it stays that way.
Can I spend the night here?
Well, I don't know. This isn't an inn.
I'll pay you well, if you let me spend the night here every now and then.
For a few groschen, there's some room on the hay.
Let's agree on a price. No, only because it's you.
Look, offer a bit more and we can make a deal. Very well. Feel free to sleep on the hay, but don't go wandering around my home.
Where should I lie down?
You can sleep in the barn behind the cart, right next to the wood. Farewell, my friend.
Gah! Go! Whoa! 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 Go! What are you looking for?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Ah, don't be like that. Perhaps I can help you. What's up?
I'll tell you, but pray keep it to yourself, will you?
Of course.
I'm looking for treasure. I have a map to it, but I'm not sure I'm going the right way.
Well, let me see it. Perhaps I can help you.
So you can commit it to memory and double-cross me? Over my dead body.
Do I look like a thief to you? You'd be hard-pressed to find a more honest person than me. I'm just trying to help.
Well, all right. But I want it back straight away, you understand?
Yes. Don't worry.
Here you go. Give it to me. Are you trying to piss me off? Give it here. I'll kill you.
I'll break your bones! Fucker! I'll break your bones!
Take that, you shit! I'll kill you! Hey, boy!
Whoa!
Ha! I'm all yours!
What do you want?
I'll beat you to a bloody pulp!
Show what you're made of. I yield. Quick! Go! Ka!
Somebody did him in and chucked him into the water. But the river there has a power of current. Dead man has been floating down the river for at least a week.
I've got that sheep gut for you.
I hope you killed the poor creature before you pulled it out of its rectum. Or did you chicken out and buy it somewhere? Not that I care. Wait here a while and I'll make them strings for you.